You going to jail had your home been shot up?
No.
Had anything like that ever happened to your house while you were living there those
No.
8 years?
At least one occasion, when you dropped Mr. Zachary off at the studio, Mr. Williams, you saw Mr. Williams.
I don't remember.
Whether did you post this picture that has been depicted as States Exhibit 200 Delta to social media?
No, I don't know nothing about no social media.
All right.
Boys,
And what are their names?
Rachel and Bennett, and Kelvin Bennett.
And is it YFN Lucci?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. So today, we're back with another exclusive update with this young thug YSL Rico trial. Now, as the trial continues, it seems like the state came out swinging. And though it may be hard to believe, the state's witnesses are actually lined up one after another, ready to testify. But here's the question. Are these really the witnesses the state need in order for them to secure a conviction? Or are they just hot and ready witnesses with no substance to tie anyone to the alleged crime? But as always, before we dig deep, whether you're a fan of Young Thug and YSL, the state of the case, man, y'all definitely tap that like button to help the channel continue to grow. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell so you'll get these exclusive updates as well. Y'all ready? Let's dig. So as the trial resumed, the state has definitely brought in what appears to be a strong lineup of witnesses. Now these witnesses are actually here, on time, ready and willing to testify. But here's the deal. Now, though these witnesses may be actually witnesses that are actually called from the state, the ironic thing is with their testimony, they're actually only testifying their day-to-day responsibilities and roles from the actual job description. Now to be fair, it does sound impressive while they give detailed testimony, but how do these witnesses actually benefit this case? Or ask yourself this, is this just more examples of time waste from the state? Let's dig.
Back in 2015, did Mr. Zachary live off of Cleveland Avenue with his mom?
I believe so.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, did you have an opportunity to go to his house where he lived with his mom off of Cleveland Avenue on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Okay. And just to orient the jurors, where on Cleveland Avenue, if you can describe, did they live?
I believe behind the Checkers.
The Checkers? Okay. Now, during your time that you spent in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, can you tell the jurors, did you have an opportunity to kind of meet some of his friends or associates?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to meet a gentleman named Antonio Sledge?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what about someone named Shannon Stillwell?
Yes.
Okay. And what about someone named Jeffery Williams?
No.
Okay. Do you know, was that somebody that Mr. Zachary would spend time with, someone named Jeffery Williams?
That's what he told me.
Okay. And what about, had you ever had an opportunity to meet someone named Demise Garlington?
Yes.
Okay. And were they, any of the people we just mentioned that you had met, did you, I guess, hang out with them often, go to restaurants or clubs or hang out at people's houses with them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the time that you were dating and in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, can you tell the jurors, did you ever see him with firearms that he owned?
Yes, I was with him when he purchased one.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, when you were with him, where did he purchase a firearm?
I don't recall.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors, were there times, or were you with Mr. Zachary, and were you aware in 2015, in May, that Mr. Zachary was arrested?
Can you be specific?
Around May 7th, were you aware with Mr. Zachary when he was arrested?
I believe so.
Okay. And do you remember a time that when Mr. Zachary was in custody, he would call you, I guess, through the jail phone?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember that after one of the phone calls that you had with Mr. Zachary in September of 2015, you reached out to ATF agents?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember, can you tell the jurors why you reached out to ATF agents or law enforcement?
Because Quindarius wanted me to see why was he arrested.
Okay. And after that phone call on September 16th of 2015, did you go and meet with some agents and detectives at the City of Atlanta Police Department a couple of days later?
I did.
Okay. During that meeting, do you remember talking with and telling the detectives that Mr. Zachary had given a firearm to Antonio Sledge?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember talking to and describing the firearm that he had given to Antonio Sledge?
Not really, but okay.
you and Mr. Zachary, you dated for multiple, or did you date for multiple years?
I believe so.
Okay. And in the times that you and Mr. Zachary dated, can you describe to the jurors, did he, based on your personal knowledge, hang out with Mr. Williams, Jeffery Williams, on a number of occasions?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
I've never actually seen him.
Let me ask you this question. You're familiar with social media, Instagram,
Objection
Facebook?
to the leading question.
Are you familiar with things like that?
Yes.
And do you have those things?
Yes.
And did Mr. Zachary back then also have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those good things?
I believe so.
And in the number of years that you were in relationship with Mr. Zachary, did you see photographs of Mr. Zachary and Mr. Williams together?
Yes, but I didn't think he knew him then.
Okay. Well, when you saw your testimony, you saw photographs where they were hanging out, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah, no, I'm going to object. That's a mischaracterization of the witness's answer.
I'll rephrase. Were they hanging out in the photographs?
I don't know if they was hanging out. I'm not sure. I wasn't there, but it was a picture of them together.
Okay. And did you see pictures of the two of them together on multiple occasions?
I believe so.
Okay. And in the times that you were in a relationship with Mr. Zachary, did he travel with Mr. Williams?
Objection, hearsay.
I don't remember.
Rephrase.
Were there times when Mr. Zachary was traveling and you and Mr. Zachary be on a FaceTime call and you would see...
Objection to that leading question.
Did you FaceTime Mr. Zachary when he was traveling?
I don't remember.
One of the occasions that you described, or do you remember one of the occasions that you described FaceTiming with Mr. Zachary that he was traveling with Mr. Williams?
I don't remember.
Okay. Interview, you also talked about times that you dropped Mr. Zachary off at the studio and Mr. Williams was there.
Objection calls for hearsay. It's leading. It's speculation.
Sustained to leading.
So let me break that down. Were there times during your relationship with Mr. Zachary that you dropped him off at different studios?
I don't remember.
And do you remember telling the detectives that was something that you would do?
I believe so.
And do you remember telling the detectives on at least one occasion when you dropped Mr. Zachary off at the studio, Mr. Williams, you saw Mr. Williams?
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember telling the detectives that?
I remember listening to it and saying it, but I don't remember seeing him.
So you heard yourself say that?
I did hear myself say that.
Now, during that interview with the ATF agents and the Atlanta Police Department, God bless you. Scared me. Now, you talked about other firearms that Mr. Zachary had given to
I'm going to
other
object to the
friends.
leading question.
Overruled.
You can answer the question.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. Do you remember talking and telling the agents and the detectives in September of 2015 about other firearms that Mr. Zachary had given to other friends?
I do, but I don't remember any other firearms.
Okay. And when you say I do, do you remember hearing yourself say that when you listened to the recording?
I do.
And do you remember hearing yourself say during that interview and on the recording that he gave...
Your Honor, I'm going to object. It's based on hearsay.
I might have to look at the recording, the
Okay.
interview.
State would say that it's an exception to hearsay because it's impeachment due to a prior inconsistent statement
Of
of Mr. Zachary.
Same objection. There's no predicate for impeachment of an inconsistent statement.
yeah, that's our issue that we discussed up here.
Well, can we approach?
Sure.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the former ex-girlfriend of QZ, the previous witness from the state who took that plea that had immunity. One of the only two that actually got the immunity deal in this case. So ask yourself this, what's her purpose when it comes to this case? Now, interesting, in my personal opinion, the state is actually going to use her for one or two things. One, to either actually testify to connect the dots with Young Thug, the defendants, and the other two defendants that took the pleas from the state. And the second thing that they're actually going to do is use this defendant to actually turn around and impeach QZ by mistake. Now pay attention, because what they're doing is asking her questions that are definitely contradicting to what he testified previously up on the stand. Let's dig.
I remember pulling up on the side of my cousin, and me and her was talking and playing, and then we heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, because you heard gunshots, do you remember talking to the...
A gunshot.
Okay. Do you remember talking to the detectives and telling them where the gunshot came from?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors?
I believe I told them that the guy in the passenger seat had shot the gun.
Okay. And in the passenger seat of whose car?
My cousin.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, I guess, who that person was in the passenger seat of your cousin's car, Ms. Smith?
I don't know him, so I don't know, but they told me that it was the guy that she was dating.
Well, I don't want you to tell me what anybody else said, but let me ask you this question. Do you remember telling officers that responded that night, as well as agents and other detectives on September 18th of 2015, that the person in the passenger seat of your cousin's car was someone that you knew by the nickname Kel?
I do.
And do you remember hearing yourself on that recording and from that night on January 12th, describing to them how you had just requested him on Instagram?
I do.
And do you remember providing them with the Instagram handle for Mr. Kell?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell the jurors how you know someone named Miss Alexis Bryant?
That's Quindarius' cousin.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives that Mr. Garlington was jumped that night?
I remember hearing myself say that.
Okay. And do you remember hearing yourself say that you actually witnessed the fight?
I remember hearing myself say that.
Okay. And do you remember during that recording who you told the detectives kind of jumped in to help Mr. Garlington when he was being beat up?
I remember hearing myself say Antonio Sledge.
Okay. Do you remember also telling the detectives that person you knew as Tang jumped in to help as well?
I don't remember telling. I remember hearing myself say it. So I remember hearing myself say it.
Okay. And
Yo, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit the like button. Share the video. Hit the like button. Let's dig.
hearing yourself on that recording describe to the detectives and the agents what happened.
Kinda, yes.
Okay, what do you remember hearing yourself say?
I believe I said I went to Alexis Bryant's house.
Okay, and what did you tell the detectives happened before you went to Ms. Bryant's house?
I don't remember.
Because you don't remember telling the detectives and then talking to me yesterday and telling me that when you were in the parking lot, a shooting happened at Club Crucial.
No, I don't remember telling you that either yesterday.
Okay, and now you said after you left Club Crucial, how did you get to Ms. Bryant's house?
I don't remember.
Okay, and when you say you went to Miss Bryant's house, is it the same apartment that we talked about a little earlier that you had been to on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors who was at Miss Bryant's house when you went there that early morning on April 28th?
I don't remember.
Do you remember Alexis being there?
Not really, but I'm pretty sure she was there.
Okay, Nuts, murder.
I believe I heard myself say something about it.
Okay, and do you remember talking to the detectives about where Mr. Zachary was when Mr.
I'm going to object to the hearsay, that it calls for hearsay.
It doesn't. The answer does not.
Okay, I'll listen to the rest of the question and then make a determination.
Do you remember talking to the detectives about how you knew where Mr. Zachary was when Mr. Thomas was killed?
Okay, overruled.
I believe so.
Okay, and do you remember telling the detectives that he was actually...
Objection to the leading question and that it calls for hearsay.
Do you remember what you told the detectives as to why you had personal knowledge of where Mr. Zachary was?
I do.
Okay, can you tell the jurors?
I was with him.
Okay, and when you say you were with him, were you at his house, your house? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, and do you remember talking to the detectives about how you had personal knowledge of where Antonio Sledge was during that time?
I do.
And can you tell the jurors a little bit about that, how you knew where he was?
I believe I told them that they were on FaceTime together.
Now, what was the purpose and what did we learn with this witness being up on the stand? That another individual that's not on this actual trial, not indicted on the Rico, actually has a plea deal from the state called his own individual case. So I guess we are moving forward. Now, one thing I do want to say that she did point out was that she never actually physically saw Young Thug. She never directly talked to him, none of that. She just heard. So another witness up here talking about speculation and hearsay based off of what the state assumes. Now, I thought the state was actually moving forward with the witness list until we realized what did we just learn from this witness. Now, if you thought that was interesting, ask yourself, why would the state bring this next witness to the stand? Now, before I even talk about why she's here and who she is, let's dig into what she said.
ETHIA, BROCK.
And Ms. Brock, good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you from?
Atlanta.
Okay. And do you have any siblings?
Yes,
How many?
it's 10 of us.
10. I want to specifically ask you about 2. Do you know someone by the name of Kenneth Copeland?
Yes.
Is that one of your siblings?
Yes.
And do you also know someone by the name of Rontrez Brock?
Yes.
Is he one of your siblings?
Yes.
Between the three of you, who's oldest?
Runtrez.
All right. And then who's next?
Me.
And then is Kenneth younger than both of you?
Yes. Yes.
Now, I want to direct your attention to January 13th, 2015. Did you ever have the occasion to call the police to come to your home?
I did.
Why did you have to call the police to come to your house?
Because I got a threat on Instagram.
Okay. And once you got the threat on Instagram, was there anything else at your home?
Say it again?
You got a threat on Instagram. Was there anything else? Was there any other reason why you called the police?
No.
All right. Did you ever have any damage to your home
When? Before or after?
after you receiving the threat?
Okay, make it make sense. With.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Did you ever have your home shot with bullets?
Yes.
Okay. And was that around the same time you received this threat?
That was after I got locked up.
Okay. When did you get locked up?
After I called the police.
Okay, so you got a threat, got locked up, and then you called the police?
I got a threat. I called the police. They escorted me to my grandma's house. They called me back out and locked me up.
Okay.
So let's dig. Now, in my personal opinion, the state at this point, as you just heard, definitely has Woody's sister up on the stand. But ask yourself this. Is this case actually starting to turn into the Donovan Thomas case, the Woody case, or the QZ, or even the Mounk Tounk? Because ask yourself this. When it comes to this Rico, Rico's still on the run, and the state has still yet to prove their actual connection with this case. So is the prosecution actually losing grasp of this case? Or are we watching the prosecution actually start to go after the witnesses for the state? And where is the connection with the YSL defendants with these alleged crimes? And ask yourself, with these witnesses that we're watching, is the state still wasting time? Let's dig.
So you going to jail had your home been shot up?
No.
Had anything like that ever happened to your house while you were living there those
No.
8 years? I'm going to show you a few other pictures. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 3, Triple D. Are you out there when the police took any of these pictures?
No.
All right. 23, Triple D. 24, Triple D. 28, Triple D. And 29, Triple D. Was that the holes and the damage that you found to your home when you came home after being released from jail back in January 2015?
Yes.
Okay. And is that everything that you showed the police back when you called the police to report that this occurred at your house?
Yes.
And let me ask you this. Were you locked up for calling the police or were you locked up for something else?
Something else.
Okay. And what was that?
A failure to appear.
All right. All right. I have no further questions.
My son Kenneth Hurst.
Okay. Do you see anyone else in this photo
I
that
don't
you
know the rest of
recognize?
those.
Is it common, and let me ask this question, does this picture fairly and accurately represent the back of your home as you remember it to be when the pool table was there? Your Honor, at this time, the state now moves to admit into evidence State's Exhibit 200 Delta Delta Delta.
It's admitted.
I'm going to leave this here with you and just ask you a few more questions. How often, if you can recall, would your son be in the back playing pool?
Your Honor, I'm going to object as to relevance.
It's relevant, Your Honor. It's relevant, Your Honor. It's hopefully the state's hope is that it will be developed with the questions that follow.
I'll give you a couple of questions to establish that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Just a brief moment, Your Honor. Ms. Merriweather, did you post this picture that has been depicted as State's Exhibit 200 Delta 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 to social media?
No, I don't know nothing about no social media.
All right. Just a few more questions, Ms. Merriweather. Do you know a person by the name of Kenneth Copeland, also known as Lil Woody?
Yes.
How do you know him?
My grandkid uncle.
Okay. There was someone that brought you in the courtroom today and helped assist you to get positioned where you're currently seated. Is that the same person that you're talking about named Lil Woody?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you known Lil Woody?
It's been a while.
Okay. Has he ever been over your home?
Yeah, he used to come now.
Okay. Does he still come?
No.
Okay.
My son ain't that what he gonna come for?
All right. And Mrs. Merriweather, lastly, does this conclude your involvement with this particular case?
To what now?
Is that all that you have to offer the jury at this time?
That's all I know. My son was killed. That's all I know.
Okay. I understand. Thank you so much. No further questions. Your Honor.
Are there defense questions for this witness?
So let's talk about how the jury has got to be looking at the prosecution right now. Now, this is the craziest case that I've ever seen. You telling me that the unindicted co-conspirator that the state gave immunity to with a plea is in here actually bringing in the senior citizens for the case, more witnesses for the state, and then not to mention that his sister's actually called as a witness for the state. Imagine the thoughts and the looks on the jury's face. And speaking of looking at the people's face, imagine how this resonated with the jury, knowing that his sister's house got hit up. She calls the police and goes to jail the same day. For what? A FTA. Let that sink in. And for her house to actually get hit up while she's in custody of the state, ask yourself, what was more important, protecting and serving or getting another conviction for the state? Let's dig.
I'm sorry, just your last name. Reed, R-E-E-D.
And Miss Reed, where are you from?
At Douglasville.
Douglasville. Okay. And do you have children?
Yes.
How many do you have?
2.
And boy and a girl, boy and a girl, girl, boy?
2 boys.
And what are their names?
Rayshawn Bennett and Kelvin Bennett.
And boy and a girl, boy and a girl, girl, boy. And Rayshawn Bennett, what type of work does he do?
Wait a minute.
Okay, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, God bless you.
Music.
Music. And does he have a stage name that he goes by?
YFN.
YFN. And is it YFN Luccis?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And how long has he been in the music industry?
When he was young, about 13, just not in it. Yeah, I guess since like 2015 or 16. I'm not for sure.
Okay. And how old is he now?
He's 33.
All right. To your knowledge, is your son signed to a specific music label?
Yes.
What music label is that?
I think it's a game.
And how long has he been signed to that music label?
I don't know. It's been a minute. I don't know.
Okay, and you know, minute can mean different
I
things.
guess like 2017. I'm not for sure.
And do you know who brought him or introduced him to that record label?
Yes.
If she knows personally.
Yes. What's your response? Yes.
Yes.
Who was that person?
I just know him by Nut.
Okay, you know about Nut. And is Nut still alive today?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Okay.
So let's dig a little deeper. Has the state proven that evidence in this Rico trial beyond reasonable doubt? Absolutely not. Now, granted, the state did actually come in and we went through 13 to 15 different witnesses in a nice timely manner. The ironic part is that all of these witnesses all actually came up and testified to the same events. That's what happens when you call different officers out on the scene. Everybody comes to play their parts. So is the state actually hurting themselves, bringing all these different witnesses in just to actually testify about the same 1 or 2 or 3 alleged events that still don't connect any of the defendants to the actual situations at all? Make that make sense. Now, the state using all of these witnesses, in my personal opinion, I believe that the state is actually including these witnesses to actually just create this illusion that the case is actually bigger than it really is, to make it seem like it's more than it really is. And in reality, what we see is what we get. So again, did the state get it wrong? We set up and we watch Lil Woody come in, pushing the old lady. Imagine how that impacts the jury. This the same person that y'all said running around terrorizing the streets? Does it make sense why he's out on the plea when you see him walking around with the elderly people? Make it make sense. Imagine how they sat with the jury to sit up and watch the actual prosecutor sit up and ask all of these questions just to try to tie an alleged incident to anybody. Now, what we did learn was that these incidents definitely did occur. What we also did learn is that in none of the reports, none of the defendants have been identified, pointed out. They also haven't proven furtherance, they haven't proven motive, and they definitely haven't proven conspiracy. So was this just another waste of time from the state? My personal opinion, no matter how many witnesses that they keep bringing up here on the stand, I'll keep saying, just 403, waste of time. Man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know y'all's thoughts. Was the state wrong for actually bringing Lucci's mom in, knowing that Lucci's not even going to be a part of the case? Then to watch the prosecutor actually ask the old lady, did you post this on social media this day? This what we watching. These are the moves. These are the tactics. These are the actual evidence that's being presented by the state for an alleged open and closed case. Man, y'all jump in the comments. Let me know y'all's thoughts. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. Tap that notification bell so you won't miss a drop whenever we drop these exclusive updates. And until next time, remember, if you're going to do dirt, these go to show why you should always do dirt on your own. The life you save might be your very own. Until next time, I'm your host, Jay. Y'all know the vibes, man. Gone.